Our guest just added 4 marijuana companies to his coverage with a buy rating on all of them. He says these stocks have gained momentum in growth, grams, and the number of patients signing up. Joining us now to explain further, Jason Sandberg, Special Situations Analyst with PI Financial. He's in Vancouver. Jason, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Thanks for having me on your show.
What got you interested in the medical marijuana space? Was it partly the fact that recreational seems to be coming down the road?
Well, that's definitely an added bonus for this sector. But just on the medical marijuana, the growth rates have been triple digit here in the last year. So we're seeing some great growth, even if it just maintains a medical market for the foreseeable future. But you're right, the rec market adds that extra bonus of growth.
Well, listen, before we get into let's deal with the companies before we run out of time, the ones that you have put a buy on. A lot of them have been on the channel. Afria, we know about them. They grow their weed inside a greenhouse, and they also have the boss of Jameson Vitamins, the former CEO of Jameson Vitamins, on board. That's one of the reasons you like Afria.
Yeah, great management, very low cost of production. One thing about Afria, though, is their stock has had a bit of a run. It's up 40 to 50% in the last month. But we definitely like management. We like their growing, their greenhouse growing situation.
A target of $3 on that stock. Canopy Growth, they were first out of the gate. They listed way back in April of 2014. They were called Tweed Marijuana back then. You like them as well. You reckon they do have good opportunities in the recreational marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that Canopy and Bruce Linton has paid very close attention to is branding, and I think that's going to be very important when we get to a recreational market. So they've got 2 distinct brands, Bedrocan, which is very focused on a very clinical product that is good for the medical side. Mm-hmm. Tweed, as you mentioned, they do sell medical, they're only selling medical marijuana right now, but I think that that's a nice laid-back lifestyle brand that will do very well in the rec market. So we think they have great growth opportunities, especially when rec comes into play. And
management and insiders, 16%, that's fairly high, it seems. Ownership, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All the names that we cover here have good insider ownership, and that's something that we like to look for in a good investment.
That's amazing. They have a license capacity for 6.7 tons of marijuana every year.
Yeah, and that's just their license is the largest right now. In fact, their license is larger than the other 3 that we mentioned here combined.
Wow.
But we expect that to increase considerably. We believe that if you add up all the license capacity right now, it's probably 1/5 or 1/10 of what will be needed in a couple of years. So all these names will be expanding capacity.
Organigram Holdings, they're based in Moncton, New Brunswick. That helps keep their costs down. They're also organic, and you think that's a big deal possibly for some customers?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's great in the medical market, but we envision when the recreational market comes into play, whoever's going to be selling it on a retail basis, whether it be government liquor stores or whoever, they're going to dedicate a few SKUs to an organic brand. And right now, Organigram is one of only 2 companies in Canada that produces an organic marijuana product. So we think that they will benefit from that.
But I mean, is that just marketing, in the sense that, as far as I know, the licensed producers, they've got really tough regulations from Health Canada. They can't exactly slap on chemicals.
No, but there is the process of growing organically is actually quite a complicated process. It basically is a different way of approaching how to grow a marijuana plant. So although there are strict regulations that Health Canada has, what Organigram, or how they grow, is much different than how the other LPs grow their plants.
And tell us about the last one, Metrum Health. Are they actually producing right now, Jason?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, they have the second largest patient count right now of the 4 that we list. And we see Metrum. We like Metrum. They're very undervalued. They had an issue with capacity, but those issues have gone. They've had a third facility that's been licensed earlier this year. It's have some major increase in capacity, so we expect to see some good growth from Metrum going forward. And like I said, they are the lowest valuation of all the four that we cover here, so we think there's some good upside with Metrum.
So we've looked at these four stocks. Tell us about the recreational market, though. I think you reckon that it could be worth between $4 and $5 billion a year, and total Canadian booze sales are something like 19 billion, all alcohol sales. So this could be a big market.
No, absolutely it is. And you know, I've seen some stats that show what the black market has been in the past, and it's much larger than the 4.7 billion that we expect it to be in its first year. We came up with these numbers looking at various rec and medical markets in the U.S. For example, Colorado is a great case study. We eliminated all the tourist sales because the state of Colorado did a very in-depth study on how much of those sales are from tourists that arrive and are purchasing the product. So we feel that our numbers are very conservative, and the 4.7, we believe there's some good growth on top of that as the market progresses and matures.
One thing, though, isn't it really a commodity? I mean, one type of weed is, it's pretty well the same as another. I know they differ in CBD and THC and all that. Is there a danger that it just gets commoditized and the price for marijuana just keeps dropping when it gets legalized?
Yeah, I do think that a low-cost producer is going to be advantageous in this market, especially when you get further layers of a retail margin that'll need it. You'll have to add in a tax included in that price as well. So we do see the wholesale cost of this product coming down as this market matures. So that's why we stress that a low-cost producer will definitely benefit. But there will be some differentiation between the products. And like I mentioned with Organigram, we do think that an organic product will be able to set itself apart when you put all these products side by side.
And just Afria, you reckon that the fact they use a greenhouse makes them the lowest cost producer. Is that because they're burning less energy?
Yeah, absolutely. A greenhouse environment definitely saves on your power. And Afria has also saved some money on their fertilizer. This management team has been growing in a greenhouse for a number of years, so they understand how to grow a product at a very low cost in a greenhouse environment. So Canopy as well has a greenhouse. They've got a very large greenhouse in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And there are other ways to lower your costs as well. I mean, Organigram uses LED lights, which has got a lot lower power consumption as well. So there's different ways of lowering your prices, but a greenhouse definitely is an advantage.
Jason, you gave us a great update there on the sector. Thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Jason Zandberg, Special Situations Analyst at PI Financial, and he joined us from Vancouver.